So I'm going to break this video up into sections to make it easier to digest because there's a lot I want to say in this video. Most of it will be unscripted, but I've got a few notes on my screen and on my display, so if I glance around, that's probably why. There's going to be lots of talking, so if there's not any, ADHD, Vine, TikTok boom sounds that you're used to, this video probably isn't for you. I might also change the title more than once so that more than 2 people will care, but we'll see. So I want to start off with the motivation for why I did YouTube in the first place. I started back in 2020, which was COVID's lockdown era. I really didn't have anything to lose at the time, and what really fueled me was spite in terms of people not believing that I could, actually do or have some level of success on YouTube. That's what really got me going. I even have like a screenshot, I'll probably show it on screen, of me, showing people not believing that I could actually do it, and I actually did it. I also had nothing going for me at the time. Like, my physical health was pretty bad, I didn't really have a social life. The only thing going for me was academics at the time, so that was really my main motivation, and I'll get onto why this actually kind of matters in the last 2 sections of the video. The second part, efficiency, is kind of weird in terms of its titling, but this was really, like, a key thing for me was the effort I put into a video didn't directly translate into its performance. And I don't want to name any names or make any comparisons here, but that's going to happen later into the video. But let's just use an example of my own. So for example, I normally spend about 2 hours scripting a video. That normally has like 2,500 words, if not more. Then I spend at least an hour voice recording, another hour recording gameplay, so maybe I'm using gameplay right now. There's another 2 hours actually editing the video, and then there's a thumbnail which can take anywhere from 5 minutes to an hour to make. Essentially, I put in like a minimum of 6 hours of work to get around 4K views, especially when I don't make tier lists. Now, if you take an example from the competition, so again, I don't want to name any channels here, but usually their videos take a lot less time or effort to make in comparison to mine, and they often do a lot better. So for example, they won't use a script at all. They'll just normally have keywords on screen like I have right now, or they'll just freestyle it, and that just takes a lot less time, right? You don't have to type up a 1,000-word script to make a video go well. And another place where they save time is the editing, right? So again, I don't want to name any names, but most content from people that are in my educational space is either ripped from their Twitch channel, or they have another editor who just edits the work for them. And I'll get onto that later with, getting an editor and whatnot. So in short, they put around 3 hours, or half the effort that I do, if not more than half most of the time, and then they get double the result as a return, if not more than double, right? So like 10k views, 15k views, something like that. And obviously, when I see that in my feed when I go on YouTube, that doesn't really make me motivated. Like, of course, when I see people who get a 300% return on investment in terms of their time and, what they do with it and how YouTube is, like, giving them, making their videos perform well, of course I don't want to keep making videos. Like, it's just, I don't want to type up a script just to get 4k views, and then some guy that I know is not having to do that and then gets double my view count. Like, it's just completely demotivating. Now, in terms of the third part, the personality part, I recently watched a video, I'll link it on screen or I'll play some clips of it, but it essentially explained why some creators had or struggled to maintain consistent view counts over time. And a big part of that was emotionally connecting with your audience. And I feel like I don't, and this isn't just with me, but I feel like a lot of educational channels don't really do that. I'm very much a script Andy. I script almost all my videos, especially my guides. They are really, really dense, and they come across a bit robotic, and sure, they might be clean and direct, but they're a bit lifeless and soulless. And I know I said I wasn't going to bring up any examples, but I think Sparta does this really well. When you compare him to an entity like GameLeap or even Crow, who are both, businesses essentially, like big teams, multiple people working on multiple videos at one time, then, there's a big difference in terms of like you actually caring for GameLeap compared to, Spilo, who's an actual person on camera right now that you can connect to. Fourth section, creativity. This is the classic dilemma. Every YouTuber goes through this, no matter the genre they're in. Do I please the YouTube gods and make content that I don't want to make? Or do I make stuff that really satisfies me personally, but I know isn't going to perform well on the algorithm? It's why I do tier lists. Like, tier lists do really well, and they're very consistent, and the reason for that is the high SEO, or search engine optimization. Basically, that just means a lot of people search up tier lists, which gets views, right? It's actually, if you're watching this and you're an aspiring creator, make a tier list at the start of every season. It's free views. You will get free views. It's just, Yeah, just do it. And it really hurts when a video where, you know, for example, my Samita video recently, where I enjoyed making that video. Like, the editing was fun, there's a lot of creative 3D shots that I could do, a lot of different camera shots, the highlighting effects, the fake depth of field things I can do. I'm still a beginner when it comes to this, undoubtedly, but it's a lot of fun to do. You know, instead of just have gameplay text above and then I have voice, you know, it's not that enticing to me. And it really got me thinking, because I do want to make more creative videos than that. I want to go beyond stuff like the Samito stuff. Examples would be like the Sean Steve stuff back in the day, where he had a green screen then commentated over that. I thought that was pretty cool. The Sneeko stuff before he went full red pill and destroyed his reputation with his old fan base. He had really cool like animated effects that I think I know how to do, like how you actually can do them. And you know, the cool camera shots and whatnot. The issue with that kind of stuff is the cost though. So there's the camera, the lens, the tripods. If I had to do the green screen stuff, there's the green screen obviously, the lighting. There's a lot of stuff that can go easily past the 1K, and that kind of money, while I do technically have, it is kind of a big investment. And speaking of investment, that actually leads me on to the fifth point of scalability, and how businesses in general try and scale up to a sustainable size. I'm probably the only educational creator right now that can't really scale. I either don't have the financial capital to do so, nor do I have the connections to scale up. So for Game Leap, you know, they're a business, they have multiple editors, they have a thumbnail team. Coach Mills used to work back in Game Leap back in the day, and even Mills himself, he's got other stuff going on that can fund his editing team. Crow are an entire, the entire, and people don't know this about Crow, but they are essentially an entire Western production team, and the brains behind Crow are Asian contenders coaches, so they're a team. Spilo, he's got a cheap thumbnail maker, Mr. Baggins. He does, maybe their deal's changed, I don't know, but they do $5 per thumbnail, which is really cheap, and the thumbnails that Baggins makes is really quality. I don't have any of that. I'm a one-man army. I'm like JPEG Mafia out of this bitch. Like, I just can't afford that. I mean, the closest thing I have is Good Sucks on Twitter, who, you know, does do good thumbnails for a very good price, I will say, but even they have the limitations in terms of like what they can do. And again, I'll get onto this later about breaking even and businesses and whatnot. But yeah. I also want to bring this up. Reaper EN, who used to be the best, in my opinion, educational content creator out there. He was a pro coach like some other educational creators, but he quit because he struggled to scale or to innovate, and he saw his views dwindling over time and shit. Like, it was very demotivating, and that's kind of the same thing that I'm going through right now. There's also the editing software I use and the thumbnail software I use. Both of them are outdated, or they have their limitations. Hitfilm Express, which is the editing software I use, that's dead in the water. Canva, which is the thumbnail software I use, that is really limiting. It's just, I can't really do like radial blurs or stuff like that. I just can't do that. And I don't really have the time to properly learn DaVinci Resolve, Adobe Premiere, Photoshop, things like that, which have more scalability. But again, I don't have the time. Like, the competition are busy eating market share, and I'm out here just, yeah, I'm just vibing, like, I guess. Now to the penultimate part, which is ego. I've titled this. I've been recently reading Ryan Holiday's Ego is the Enemy, and it sort of like opened my eyes to how I treat people, YouTube, coaching, all aspects of life. It's kind of like opened my eyes on. One of the key pieces of advice in the book was to be a student and to always stay a student even when you've got success. And I tried implementing that, but unfortunately, when I ask for advice for people above me or who are doing better than me, they either give really vague advice, or when I go out looking for advice that's more, you know, specific, it's really expensive. Like, there was a 5K course that I saw on Twitter ads. I technically have the money to do so, that I've saved up from AdSense, and it would be really low return on investment for me to invest 5K or 1K or however much money, and then I still plateau. I'm still at the same place as I was making this video. It's just, it's too big a risk, I think.
I'm not paying someone $2,000 a song to make my shit sound like ass. I'll make it sound like ass myself for free.
There's also ego in terms of like the way I make comparisons about other people in my market, I guess. You know, the educational Overwatch people. These people are often a decade older than me. They are often married. They have good social lives. They're in great physical shape. I'm 19 and I'm still learning to do that shit. Like, I spend an hour a day at least on socials like Yubo, Grinder, stuff like Timey, stuff like that essentially. And then I'm also spending time bulking, which is really, really hard, I think. And then also doing resistance training, and it's kind of like overwhelming because I have to deal with these issues I have, these obstacles I have as a content creator, and I also have to like have a social life, have a physical, have good physical health, things like that. That people above me or people in my field, they already have. They don't have to worry about that kind of stuff right now. And maybe it's a mindset change. Maybe my ego is making me permanently envious of people above me, and I just need a switch of like a change of mindset in terms of like, you are you. I'm a one-man army. There's still a lot I need to go through. Again, I'm a decade younger than these guys. That's, I guess, an advantage. So maybe that slight change in mindset might help me. So this video is already long enough. I want to talk about the future. Specifically a two-step plan, a vague plan that I've kind of made, which is diversify and then solidify. So the former bit, diversify, that basically means me doing TikToks, Instagram Reels, maybe YouTube Shorts, and then funnel those guys into my long-form content, or more likely, funnel them into my coaching, which, again, link below, but that's one thing I was thinking of doing. And then diversifying in terms of investing money into my videos, into my channel, and treat it like a business. It's very common for new businesses to actually make or go on a loss or even try and break even just to prioritize growth. Kick is doing this right now. The competitor to Twitch, they're dumping hundreds of millions of dollars into these big ass contracts to try and grow their platform, and they're definitely running at a loss. Another example would be Nothing, who's a phone company started by the ex-CEO of OnePlus, I think, Carl Pei. They, on their first year, their phones they didn't run at a loss, but they broke even essentially. And again, that was to prioritize growth in the business. Even OnePlus did it when they were small, and I feel that like I could potentially do that by investing the money I make off these videos and then putting them back, as I've already talked about before. And then the second part, solidify, and now this is the actual really important one, and this one I can do right now and after this video, essentially means to solidify the audience that I already have, meaning getting to know you guys, not being this sort of robot on the screen that, is like kind of like Game Leap, this sort of conglomerate entity that's sort of soulless and lifeless and robotic. And this means that I'll be streaming more on Twitch or YouTube. They both have their pros and cons, so I'll be experimenting between the two platforms, but that does mean more streaming eventually. And that also means having more Discord implementations. That means pugs on my Discord, playing either on stream or, off stream, whatever, and also making sure that I get suggestions from you guys in terms of my, how to improve my videos and what video ideas I can actually have, which don't always pan out well because, viewers aren't creators, but I still think you guys can come up with some good ideas. And that's it for the video. I mean, I'm checking OBS right now. This is long. Might need to cut out some bits here and there. But yeah, that's my long tangential rant, I guess, about YouTube. As for like whether I'm going to quit or not, I most likely won't. But especially when uni work comes piling back up in January, yeah, we'll just see how it goes. But maybe I'll have to treat this like a hobby again, because I'm kind of in like that sort of like middle zone, right, between a hobby and a business. I'm gonna go more on the business side, but I'm scared of the risk, essentially. So yeah, let me know your thoughts down below. I don't know how to end this video at all. So yeah. Also join my Discord as well. Talk to me, please. I need suggestions because I'm in a mental rut right now when it comes to making videos, and I just felt like I needed to make this. To the two people who are watching this right now, I appreciate it. But yeah, hopefully things go on in the future.